Hola, Aleš.
Hi,
How are you?
how are you?
What part of the world are you joining us from?
Yeah, I'm in Prague in Czech Republic in
Nice.
winter season. Are you on the beach?
No, I look like I'm in the beach, but it's fall here. So I feel like I'm in the beach right now. And then I
Yeah, it
did the
looks so.
curly hair. You look like you're in spring though, with the pink and the
Yes, of
yellow.
course. We already have in the shops like equipment for pools, so probably the Prague is getting ready for the spring.
Wait, are you gonna add a pool in your apartment soon?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, that's actually something I was really considering.
So I thought you were gonna be in all black today, and you surprised me.
Yeah, I think so. I'm surprising a lot of people with the new ways. A lot of people got used to that I'm always in the black and white and this minimalism. And after I was spending a lot of time in the Caribbean, I think my everything is changing to be more colorful and expressive. And I actually do both. I love the minimalism and clean things also. Yeah, but the other me is colorful and and crazy and maybe more funny than before.
I like it. Do you think that's an influence of your daughter?
Yes, of course. Yeah, no, yeah. I would say we have a lot of similarities. We look a bit the same, and I think we also are quite same one being together. Having we are trying to have so much fun. Yeah, that is kind of a natural thing, and yeah, but I think like the life in the Caribbean influenced me a lot.
Do you miss it there?
Yes, yeah. I always try. Every time I have approval to go, I'm fine.
Why the Caribbean?
Yeah, well, I don't know. Yeah, maybe that's the colorful lifestyle there. It's one of the places in the world that's really colorful, like truly colorful, and the life was there also in the same way. People having fun and everywhere, and dancing and the music everywhere and bright colors everywhere on the daily basis.
Yeah. I realized that we met in the Caribbean, and I don't know your life before or after. And preparing for this call, it's like I really don't know Alice in a way. But then I was thinking, but you know him the most because you didn't care what his life looked like before or after. You cared what he was, in the moment, who he was in that moment. And I think that's valuable. But then I realized, like, looking through your website and all the things you've done, I'm like, wow. I mean, I've always seen you as a genius, but now I admire you even more.
Thank you.
And I don't know what to think about that in the sense of like society and as humans, what we created around us, the systems that we've created that has in a way um, made us apart from our humanity, and only our worthiness through what we do, not by what we are or our passions or what we love. And I think I enjoyed that time living in the Caribbean and meeting you and the family we created there, and barefoot,
Yeah, barefoot lifestyle.
barefoot,
Sand
which I
everywhere.
which I'm trying to recreate today. So,
Yeah, and
um,
it's a huge step from the civilized world full of stuff and busy working to go to the opposite, to be in the nature, barefoot, no stuff, no things, only nature, friends, less work, almost nothing, to like almost zero work in my case, and then
yeah,
back.
and you're back
So
to
it's
the
really
lifestyle.
interesting, those shifts. And every time I'm flying there back, I'm really need to be prepared about the change is going to be really different, especially when I'm doing just short time flights. I really know that it's really a really different environment that I live in here. So I need to be ready to settle down after arrival, and then also settle down in here.
Yeah.
But it's always a
Yeah.
little bit of cleansing to be there.
That is true. I mean, the water, the ocean, it really asked you to stop and look at nothing and the value of nothing in a way.
Yeah, but I think that I've learned a lot and try to implement everything into the daily life in here. A lot of, especially like all the friends we had over there, a lot of people came from different places around the world, and I would say from the same reasons. So it's interesting to look what they were doing before and why they moved there, and what's the lifestyle and the values and all the stuff. I think all of the things I was and those ideas I try on a daily basis, implement all of the things I learned. There are so many amazing people there, and they're really clever in the way how to live a life, to don't live in the boxes of the civilized world. I enjoy Prague in a different way right now. Love the opportunities and really try to don't be back in the same life I was being before, because I was the way I was working. I really love what I do, but I can really in here got into the position to burn myself down, and yeah, to forget about my health and other things. There are so many great opportunities in Prague. We have a rich history and so many things to do. And I really love the work, so I can actually be in the flow for a month without even eating.
So what things did you? So I'm guessing like, because I was going to ask you like, what are the things then that you've taken from that life in the Caribbean to your daily life, and that helps you, step back from your creative flow state in a way.
Yeah, I think that we're really the life with my daughter is really important. And yeah, that was actually since she born, I put the work on to the other side, and she's the most important thing in my life. I know that, and the time is the most valuable thing I have with her. So I really try hard that my work doesn't have much effect into be able to spend so much time and have fun with my daughter. I really try to live a life when having her, and do something, go out and play and explore and teach her something, and spend the time with her.
Yeah. I see there's some of your designs behind you, and you're wearing one of your designs, right?
Yes.
What is the process? Because I've seen it evolved from your previous designs, because I was able to live with a few of your designs and I have a story behind that, but I see that it has evolved as well. Um, I will just say the story so then you can talk. But people would come to my house to visit. I don't know if you remember, but a lot of people would go to my house, like so much, like daily. And they were always attracted to your pieces because they do look like an art piece, right? And even unconsciously, they would go and like touch it, and then I got the chance to brag. Oh yeah, this was my friend, and then they would ask me so many questions on like how can they get the products and all of these things. So we would research like, oh, you could actually buy it and create it in your home. Your pieces are very attract people, even people that are not in the design world. They are very attracted to it, and I'm interested in your, how your brain works to create that.
It's the most difficult thing to answer.
Yeah, I
Yeah, I
agree.
think that a lot of people probably, especially when those pieces like that, they look like an art piece, right? And I think the first idea is also how the design and art is kind of promoted, right? That people go to the blank paper and start creating, doing something what they feel. But actually, especially from the background, how I was studying and going to schools, for me, it's a really it's a lot about thinking, and there's a lot of ideas behind, and there's a lot of reasons and strategy also. So this is kind of those are the pieces of what I do, but I think I'm really good at working for clients and customers, because I can really, in the very first moment, to look what was the company about, what's the position, and really very fast starting to understand what the problems and what's the solution, especially what's the solution. This is something what I would say I can be good at, to really at every problem immediately have an answer and solution. And this is how I work. Also in the way when I do something expressive, or even when I do a painting, I have to think a lot before I even start. And then when I'm starting, I know what I'm doing usually.
Because they actually look effortless.
I think it looks like that, but
Yeah.
this is also something that I try to combine the knowledge from the design to this new way of being more expressive, and to take those. I think this expressive way what I do, it also comes from the new possibilities of the new technology, which is actually a lot of rationality behind. And I combine my way of working as a designer, as when I was last year presenting the glasses, and people were trying to take them on the face. They were really surprised that it was something really expressive, but it was fitting to the face. I was like, yes, because I was actually spending a lot of time before to pick one of the best wipers on the market, and playing with the shapes and with the dimensions so it really fits on the face, and then putting the creativity on it.
Where do you sell your products? Like, how can people use your product?
My schedule is really busy at this time. Yeah, the shop what I have is the easiest thing to. I think it was a great thing what I really had to make, and make a shop which is digital. This is something that helps me in my work and career. I was working a lot of years for clients and customers, and with every work I had many ideas in my head, and I was always feeling like it's so pity that those ideas don't have a place and people can take them and use them. So that's why I created this shop, which is a digital, and for people who have printers, where I can immediately, every idea I have, and I think it's smart, I can really fast put it online, and people, and this community I was building around all the people who loves the work can immediately have this access to my freshest ideas I have in my mind. So this is the thing what I do. And with the regular products, it's a long-term journey. With an eyewear, this is a new thing we are building still, and looking for how to make it correctly. So at this stage, it's more like in a really beta and limited. There are the glasses in a few shops only, and on a website, but they are still in a development a little bit.
I was able to see your glasses in person, and I actually thought it was from like a famous German designer that I actually had. I don't have them with me now, but your glasses seem so seamless. I can see how detailed they are.
Germany is one of the places where you can find very rare pieces.
But with
And then,
you
the Prague is
now,
probably the second place. We have kind of a community of like 5 to 6 designers. Everybody is doing a lot of different things.
and
But
you're one of them.
half of them is handcraft and very limited. Some of them are making acetate. I'm making the new ways. We have a friend who goes and who's working with the oldest material, the horn. Those are very rare. I'm designing a new collection. There's going to be more creativity over there. That one of the glasses are for girls. It's full of flowers.
I can't wait. You also design like from very small objects to very large objects. Like you were in Prague, right? A lot of the bus stops or train stops, I'm not sure what they are, but is that the government? Like, how did they find you, or how did you get that
No,
project?
this was a public competition, and I was at the time I was a student still, leaving the academy, and I was studying with my teachers, and they they asked me. They have the most famous studio in our country, and they kind of like built the design in our country. Well, after the communism, with all the opportunities they were building this field and joining the academy. And anyway, there was this public competition in Prague, and they asked me, and the question was like, if I can design the products, if I'm open to and want to, and I was like, yeah, for sure, this is one of the best things that happens right in here, and it will happen in the next decades, probably. So, and the next question was like, it wasn't a question. It was like, hey, Aleš, but we need to win it, right? So you need to design it to win it. And the competitors were like the different teachers and the pros. There were a lot of great names in the competition. But I think I had a huge advantage that I was a student and I had more time than the other people. So I could really work hard. And even though I didn't do much, I didn't do all the things before, I was just, I wanted to spend a lot of time, and I think the result was very different than the other people who were trying to compete. So we won that. There was actually two competitions. The first one was the bins and benches and the smaller parts, and then there was another competition, the bigger one for all the bus shelters, which is a huge investment for the city, right? So there was a new competition, and we didn't even wanted to join in. We felt like when in the people's eyes it could look like there is something weird why we could win both competitions, right? In the political aspects, it could look like something that it's not really. It's like why this studio wanted both competition, right?
Yeah.
But in the end, we decided to join, and I actually created a design in one day. We really didn't believe that we could win this competition. So, and we won even the second one. So we also wasn't so sure that usually it's way easier for the cities to buy already made furniture. This is really challenging, and it's expensive to invest the money into having something original. When it comes to those kind of products, there are an extra problems that needs to be solved. Who is going to take care about that, and etc. There are a lot of people involved in the project from many sides. There's a city, there's another institution. So many people had to sit at the table and solve it. But I'm really excited that this really worked out, and everybody was so in that it really happened. So that's amazing to yeah, for sure, it's amazing to live in the city and have these products everywhere
and see your design everywhere. I have an issue, like when I see my designs that are already done, I'm always like, like taking care of it like a baby. And then I have to step back because I'm like, first of all, this is just a design, and then I'm not managing that, right? Like at the end, it has its own life. Does something similar happen to you when you see these
Yes,
so
you can imagine I'm walking across the city and always closing the doors from the bins. Yeah, that's what happens. This is what happens, you know. There could be some changes in the and when I have time, this was actually what was happening last week. We were having with a guy who was helping with the project discussion if is maybe there's a good time to maybe say, hey, and there are a lot of bugs and issues that should be solved, and ask the city again to open the topic and go there and ask if we can take some time and do this investment to make them better. After the years, there are so many things that could be solved. Some of them I already was trying to do, and some of the problems on the bins have been solved already. But still, there are so many, especially with the shelters. It wasn't very easy for the city. There was a contract with the company who was managing the shelters before, and they really didn't want to lose this job, and they were really trying to that they had a contract, but the contract was ending. They really want to have a really great money from the city, so that was one of the reasons why they decided to have their own shelters. But the company was kind of fighting, and it was really weird what was happening.
that happens a lot in many countries where people from the government they bid for them to win things and they overpromise or they do these things. But in your case, you were a student, so you were creating something that first, you like you said, you didn't want to win. Everyone around you wanted you to win. You did it in one day and it ended up winning. So there was a certain detachment from you that actually propelled you to create this, amazing design. And I love when that happens, because it's like sometimes when we're so worried about something or we put so much time and energy, it doesn't really work. It never functions. And sometimes when you do just a little sketch in one day, that's like the most famous design. And also you have more experience now, developing products and seeing how they work, how they don't work. So it makes sense that you want to go back and fix these little things.
Yeah, this is something that there are some. Yeah, there is a way where I'm working for clients and customers, and we are making a product. What I'm doing right now, I know it can be like a product for our lifetime, but most of these products in the city is going to be really long time. They will survive me, so it's good that it will survive me in a good way.
Yeah. Wow. So that's like the vision. I didn't think about this. Of course it's gonna, they're gonna exist, these design way after
Yeah,
your
this was my dream. That's why I was going to school to this field.
I really don't think that way. But now that you say that, I'm like, right.
Yeah, you also do architecture, right? So
Yeah, and there's a lot of my buildings out there that for sure are going to outlast me. And
yeah, that will last you.
they will. Oh my god. That's scary. That's scary to think.
No, I was always thinking this is really exciting to have this possibility. Like most of the people in this world, and a lot of people don't have this possibility.
That's true. That is true.
Of course, I take it like a responsibility. That's why I always try to do the work in a really good way and put everything what I know.
The way I think about it is, yes, the responsibility, but I'm thinking of the user or the client, right? That they are going to use it. So it's almost like I'm giving them, the design is going through me, but I'm giving them away. So I really do detach a little bit from the design, even though when I go visit it, I'm like, hey, this wasn't supposed to be this. And I start like fixing it like you do, like closing. My mentality really is just about, okay, that client, then it's done. And then sometimes people ask me things and I'm like, right, I designed a whole thing or a whole mall or a theater where there's a design of me, but I have this kind of detachment for the design because I was very attached in school. I was very attached to my designs, and I was very attached to my career. For me, my transformation happened when I went to Costa Rica, and I was designing a kids museum in the US, and I left the engineers, all the other, like the team, my design team, everyone like responsible, right? So everyone had their things to do. And the client still called me on vacation. And the client knew I was on vacation. And I was in a bridge looking at these big alligators or crocodiles. They were huge. And when I received this call, which was like my dream, right? And I was always available for my clients, and I still am, but the mission looks different. And I'm looking at these crocodiles. I have the client. I'm thinking like, I left the whole team responsible, and they still had to call me. And there was like, it was something happened to me in that moment in this bridge. I was like, what is worth? What is my life worth? Like, is it really all about architecture and design? Is it really about my clients? Like, who am I? And I had this whole crisis that took years. And I'm still in the process of realizing it. But I think I started seeing design very differently.
I also had like health issues and burned the body and needed to take 1 year off, kind of. This was while I was finishing the Prague's furniture. And yeah, I absolutely understand that. I can't much imagine to do architecture. I think I never wanted to be that much responsible, this much responsibility. I think I was like, yeah, I like to do the design because this is something that's right fun and joy, and it's really fun to do that and don't have this responsibility. And this actually really happened. This is a news story that the last month or 2 months ago, there was a part of the building falling down through my shelter and killed a man. And it was the first time I was really like, at this moment I was reading the news, I was remembering when I was thinking about the glass roof, and I was thinking, yeah, it's going to be way more cool, but the metal one would be more functional. But I created this decision that it's going to be from the glass, and if it would be from the metal, I think the man would be alive. So those are the moments in life when I start understanding some kind of responsibility. And yeah, I had to implement this into my work. And yeah, this time I was explaining to the client this story. They were trying to. It wasn't about architecture, but anyway, there was a product with the hot water, and I was trying to explain that it have to have a handle, and there are people have kids, and please be responsible. You have to have a handle for a glass product that's going to have a hot water.
I'm sorry that happened with within your project, and yeah, I can see how there's a shift. There is a responsibility, and to be extra careful. And sometimes we can focus so much on the design and how cool it is, but at the same time, it's like you can't predict everything. Like that is an exception that happened.
Yes, for sure. For my career, I'm learning from those experiences to have better predictions.
Exactly.
And yeah, I was always I was always trying to work that way. And also, some of the clients like hire me to design a product that's gonna make the money for the company, and the money are also for all the people that works in the company. So there is always something like the product will be on the market in 2 or 3 years, and the people would need to make the money to cover all the expenses. So this is also some of the way of thinking always when putting into the design. That's why I'm not like just putting something expressive on a canvas, but I'm starting with those systems and analyzing the market sometimes, and starting with those points. What's the strategy? What's what's the plan for the company, how they want to grow and all of the stuff, and making the design based from all the information I put on the table.
Wow. I can see your brain getting bigger just thinking about all of this. That's a
Yeah,
lot of
sometimes I feel like
responsibility.
my brain is full of those informations, and those people didn't even think about most of them, and they're like, "Ooh."
Oh my God. I think after our call, I'm gonna have to reconsider a lot of my designs and how I approach design,
Why?
and like
No, it's. I think this is my way, right? This is my way of
yeah.
working, and people will hire me for those kind of reasons, I would say.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I've been thinking about because I stepped back from, bigger projects like in the past few years. I've only been like consulting for like sustainable communities. Like those are the biggest projects. And recently I've been doing like families or individual homes or, and it's completely different. I mean, there is still responsibility, but we're talking about a limited amount of users in these spaces. And I'm thinking about their transformation. So I'm thinking about one person or five, but you're thinking of a whole company, you know?
Yeah, yeah, the
That's
whole company and all the users, right? So right now I have a client that are selling a lot of pieces around the world. So there will be a lot of users. And yeah, so I'm trying to always think about how the users will think and what they need and what they will love, and this is how I think always, and how I was thinking always
mm-hmm.
in in those, putting those kind of informations. I always ask the clients the questions they didn't expect I would be asking. Also, and also after this experience in the Caribbean, I'm asking new questions they didn't. Most of the people didn't think about, like, what do you love? What do you love in your lifetime? What do you love doing?
Mm-hmm.
It's your company. You need to love that, right? You need to love your products. You need
Mm-hmm.
to be excited about the project and everything. And in the business in those countries like Prague, people didn't much was thinking about that way. A lot of people were about, this is a business, I need to make money, and we were, and I was also forgetting about it's our life, right? We are spending the time with the project, so we need to love that.
Agree. And that's something beautiful that you asked them. How do you laugh? What do you do? And like for me is personally, and that's what I've been trying to do with my clients is bringing things they love. So of course, things that function well, but also things that they love. So they wake up. What's the first thing they see
Yeah,
when they
exactly.
wake up? Was it when you go in the bathroom? What do you see? If you open your eyes and you see clutter, your mind is gonna feel like clutter. Or you have things like, oh yeah, I like it, but blah blah blah, but not really. And then same with the clothes, like yeah, it's functional, but does it bring you joy? Is it bringing happiness to your life when you see that object, when you see, because objects have a life, they have a life of their own, and like you're saying, some of these objects are gonna live beyond us, and
Yeah, of course.
so
You have some connections with all the objects. There are some memories connected. You also love the creators. Yeah, that's
yeah.
a lot of people are forgetting. They're going to IKEA and buy something to just buy it, and they're forgetting that you can buy something that you actually love, right? And you can be surrounded with the people, with the things that actually, like, you. I also get used to buy things from creators I love,
Mm-hmm.
to have this connection, and I have uh, to know why I do have this product. Yeah, that's true. This experience with going to the Caribbean was also connected to cleansing our life. That we actually sold all of our stuff, and I was coming back just with a backpack, and I didn't have anything, just a few stuff in my backpack. So I was building a life again with thinking about and consciously thinking about what I'm going to buy and why, This
Exactly.
is what I'm doing right now. And yeah,
Yeah.
this story that you tell is really amazing. I think this is the same topic that a lot of people who does interior design in here really struggle with the clients, that they really try to to have this talk about that's going to be the place where they're going to live, and the result usually is something clean.
Yeah. No, and the thing is, like, these objects that you're buying, right? Like you're saying, buying in bulks or buying from a designer, from a person that you have some type of understanding of why they design these things, like you, right? You design these things, and people were attracted to it because they can feel that that's something special. And sometimes people buy things that get dirty, and they just they don't appreciate what is around them, and they don't realize how much is affecting them in their mind and their subconscious, because our mind is always observing information, and all of this gets stuck in you. And one thing is also about the attachment to things, because sometimes what there's a saying that says, like, what's trash for one person is like gold for another. It's something like that, right? Like,
Yeah.
you saying goodbye to the object and saying, like, okay, thank you, but now I really don't need you. I haven't used you in years, or the piece of clothing. You give it away, and for someone else, or a family member, or someone in the street, or you donate it. Like, people, they will be used. And if we use that mentality as well, a lot of our problems with sustainability worldwide will diminish. They would diminish. And yes, companies will have to start producing less stuff worldwide, but then that means less waste and more valuable things. I feel the same also with food. Like, instead of buying, for example, a whole bread loaf, right? Or like the slices that last forever in your fridge or outside. It's like you go to a bakery and a fresh baked bread, right? It's a little bit more expensive, but you eat less. You eat less, and you eat something that you know who made it. It wasn't made in a factory. It wasn't made by machines. It was made by a human being. And you're supporting that small little, shop, or I don't know. I think that would change us a lot if we start doing those things. And I
Yeah,
think you
sure.
probably experienced that in the Caribbean
I
as
think
well.
that after the years, and also we've started feeling, I knew that when I was designing, when I was studying design, and then of course I was directly from the school going to the position of creative director for a company, and I knew that we are not designing something that have to be in the world. There are already a lot of things existing. We don't have to create anything new. We are doing that because of the marketing. This was something I was struggling before leaving to the Caribbean. What's my role in this world? Why I was studying marketing and advertisement before the design, so and a lot of the work was like that. A lot of and I was feeling that in here, and also realizing it even more on the beach, that a lot of the world is a lot about the companies and sales, and those most of the contemporary talks about sustainability is another way of marketing. Really sustainable thing probably is to do not buy anything, right? But we still create, and we need to create. There is something in the human beings that, especially people like me, they really love that. And I learned in the last 2 years that it's not a bad thing, actually. It's not a bad thing. It's really complicated when you do it in this crazy business scale. But for me, I really started doing it in a different way, and also, yeah, it's very possible that not just me, a lot of my friends are moving from design to being an artist again. That there is a different kind of value and different kind of that they can more doing what they love and don't feel this pressure that they are doing a lot of stuff to the world. But it's actually it's a difficult topic, and it's not that much problematic. I think that media says that we are making the planet really crazy. In some ways, yeah, for sure. Like those sustainability topics about the cars or something like that. It's hilarious. But for me, I'm just I'm really glad that I can pick at this time to something that I love or when I can feel there's something like meaningful. And yeah, the recent months I can feel that I was working on a project that are new and creating something new or solving new problems or something like that. So this is a new approach what I'm trying to learn, and don't have this pressure that I'm doing something like a pollution. This is what I was feeling before that. I was like, yeah, I'm not a doctor. I'm not helping anybody. I'm just helping the companies to sell more products.
But now you're helping them to solve their
Yeah, and I'm looking for a new approach, and also to explain to my customers that for clients that we can do. Yeah, I think the client I have right now, they were going in the direction that they were looking what other competitors does and to do something like their competitors. And I was like, yeah, but how about to do something new and creating new solutions and making new products? And we don't have to be talking about the competitors. We'll be talking about making a great product.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Thank you for doing that, and I'm excited that you. Well, I'm a little bit in tears because it's like, your experiences have evolved you. The experiences you have allowed, and I know not always it's easy. Like we're talking about it after a whole process that you went through, and I know it's not easy to go through these and actually, readjust your visions or readjust your mission in life. And I think it's always going to evolve. Like in a year from now, it's going to be different, and we can talk about it in a year from now. But I am really appreciative of how you're trying to change your personal view on design, and also trying to help other people realize or understand at least a percentage of your thought process, and help them think about others, like in the company. How is the company going to grow? What are the users of these products going to feel when they are using these?
Yeah, I think it helps me a lot that I'm surrounded with young people. Last year, I was also asked to start teaching and do a workshop and start teaching in the university. And then I also had so many students. I was helping with their finals at the school, and this is a really new experience for me also, to be in the age where I have a responsibility for young designers, and the time right now for them can be really tough. They're also in here learning a lot of new spiritual things, and I think especially in Prague, it's not an easy thing in our country. People don't believe. I think the history is really difficult in here. So taking the new ways with spirituality is a really hard topic, especially for those young people. And there are so many issues and so many weird behaviors that people in my generation and older generation, they call them snowflakes. But when I was receiving the works and especially that they were writing or the way of thinking, I think it's really hard for them. So many things. So I was also trying to give them my experience, and yeah, I had a student, and I was feeling the depression from the work really, and I was really trying to help her to talk to her and say, hey, you're a creator. It's one of the most beautiful things in the world. You can enjoy and have fun. You have this gift that you can create what you want, and you don't have to be depressed about if you have to bring into the world something new. You can just enjoy the process, or enjoy like living, and take a break for a while. Enjoy what you do. That's what it is about. It could be what it is about, right? You don't have to be in the position. I absolutely understand that. And here we do have especially when she was going in the fashion direction, and this is a difficult topic, a difficult field. There are so many things happening. It's so fast, so speed, and yeah, for sure, it's tough. We can feel that if you watch the brands, what they do, and all the designers. It can, especially for the people that are at school and they should go into the career. So many things have been done, and at our schools there is a similar pressure. I remember that everything we were doing, there was always the pressure and the question if the thing we do should be alive, like, and why. So those people are under the pressure at our schools to always
outperform,
be able to outperform and be able to tell, this is why, this is because and because and because and because. And it would be really overwhelming for the people.
Yeah, I'm surprised because I also had that experience this year. I was invited to my school by one of my professors, and I was able to see the students they already started the process, and I was able to be until the end with them. And to see them and remember how I used to suffer in a way, but also what brought me joy. And to talk to them and be like, okay, what's the best thing in your design that you love? Not your professor, not your mentors. What is it that you love? And they start talking, and immediately their demeanor changes. And I'm like, talk about that. Because you need to sell your project. I am your client. Your professor is your client. Everything else has solutions. But concentrate on the thing you're loving the most. Because when you graduate, maybe I'm designing a lot alone. You're designing a lot alone, but there's always, you probably hire other designers or communicate with other designers, that at the end, you don't really, as a designer, do everything from start to end. There's always a team helping you. And for me, I love hiring. I love hiring people that are better than me and that they love to do what I don't like to do. Then I can concentrate on what I love. And so that pressure of having to do everything and knowing everything and all these things, and also it's a very expensive career. And when you graduate, there's not a lot of money behind design. People are not paying you millions to be a designer.
Be a designer. It's not a business being a designer.
Not a business.
And it makes some sense, right? In some way, or it can be a business. I also like to look at it in a way that I can build a business and learn that. This is a new thing that I have to learn. But the very, very rare, the in the core, I think there is also something that we are. I was looking. I'm doing a research about how the countries are looking at this topic with creators, and I think, I don't want to say something that's not correct, but I think there is a country in Europe that are financing the daily basis for creators, so they don't have to feel the pressure about the cost of the living, and they can just create. This is something what I sometimes don't want to talk to the clients. I'm like, it would be great if the government would be paying money and I would just do the great job and don't have to think about the other stuff. Unfortunately, sometimes I have to. And give some kind of extra pressure. So it's really great when I can find a balance that the client can cover everything I need, and I can give them everything I can give them.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the really great thing if this when this matches, and I'm learning how to do that.
Mm-hmm.
But this is something like, yeah, I'm really good at like solving problems, and this is what I really love. This is what I really feel alive when I have a new client and he brings to my table a really difficult topic, something that's really difficult, and it's like, I'm so excited. Yes, that's it. Finally. That sounds so difficult. That's amazing.
If you see history, like one of the most famous painters that they were always backed up by a very wealthy person that would see them, and they're like, you have something special, I want to fund you. And I think even today that exists, but it's very rare. It's very rare. So you bring a good point.
That's something I have in my mind to probably joining and thinking and maybe supporting. I was researching those kind of projects that are looking on the new wave of society, how to, and this is something that probably is very important for the next years, how the world is changing with the AI and robots. It's going to be very, very soon living with us. And this is the current topic for every creator in here. In New York, you probably see the same things. In our fields, there are a lot of places are disappearing on a daily basis. That's for sure, right? And yeah, we can experience that, right? The AI can do a lot of work that the people, and the AI is really way faster. I also started using AI on a daily basis. We do that for so many things. It helps us to be really way more effective than before in so many ways. Yeah, especially like with this new client, I was able to do a research and learn the things that would take me such a long time, and right now I am able to do that in a really fast, and we are using it for many other clients I have, especially when writing and all of this stuff and changing.
You know what I realized with the AI? Sorry for interrupting, but they are giving us more time. It's a gift for us to have more time.
Exactly. This can be a gift, but in the current society, it doesn't have to be a gift. So this is something what I really am interested in, those how to change the society so those new things are a gift, not a pressure, right? I was feeling before AI with the technology, we were feeling the pressure to be faster with having phones and be online all the time. We were feeling this kind of pressure with the technology. So since the phones came and people could call you in the Saturday and Sunday in the nights, and then I was working internationally, so I was always online.
I met this person this year. He has a flip phone. He doesn't have social media. He sleeps on the floor, like a mat floor, like the Japanese. And I laughed at him, but I also admire that there's people that are doing that. For me, I love technology, but I also try every day to go outside without the technology, right? But yesterday I was talking to my niece who was, when she sees me sometimes with technology, she's like, you seem like an old lady. And I'm like, I am an old lady for technology, but secondly, there's things that I just don't want to learn, or there's things that I just don't want to use. But then I realize, even writing, the way we write and the way AI is writing is very different, right? But you see how, as society, we were expecting kids or expecting generations to write in a way as a robot, not as humans. So even that, like, AI is teaching me, like, this is how robots write or express themselves. This is how humans express themselves, right? Drawing on a wall. So generations from now can know what happened to them. Or like these little things that are simple language, not so much formality, more connection, even like non-speaking, non-verbal connection through smell, through expressions, right?
Yeah,
And
that's why I really love that we did this move to explore the place that's in the Caribbean, this Playa Bonita, where I always go back to live a life, like a normal life.
a
You need
normal
to
life.
take water to your house, walk barefoot, and live a normal life.
It's a normal life in
The
society.
conversation with you that you like this way of teaching people how to love what they do. I think this is exactly the thing what I learned in the Caribbean. The thing what this country gave me, the people there from there, they approach life with love. The first thing that the first came back to our country, it was so crazy after almost a year being there. We get used to smile every day, and everybody who was like asking, "How are you?" and we were like, "Amazing!" and we were really felt that. And we came in here back to our country, and we realized that all the people are not smiling; they're having the face on the other side. And when you ask them, "How are you?" they're like, "Yeah, so yeah, it could be better." And that's the reality in here. I was like, oh my, that's so scary.
That is scary. That is scary. And also the comparison. I think we live in a society where we automatically compare ourselves with our neighbors or with the people we're watching in Instagram or social media, and we're constantly comparing, or even how we look, right? Because it's like worldwide we're more connected in a way, but also so disconnected, because it's like, oh, you speak one language, I have no idea. I look a certain way, I live a certain way, and that comparison game is it's affecting us, instead of being like, oh my god, look how cool they look, different than I do.
Yeah, this is something that I really unlearned and unlearning right now. That after those kind of feelings, I'm like, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
Stop.
Doesn't matter.
Like
Yeah.
it's my decision. I'm trying to challenge myself in many things. But at this time, before I was like really stressed, and at this time it's like, yeah, well, it doesn't matter anyway.
Yeah.
I can do that or not. That's like I do that when I like that, and if it's a good thing,
Exactly.
and I feel that's a good thing, and I want to do that, so I'm doing that.
Yeah.
And this pressure, I think I'm starting to not having any pressure. Like I was also like doing the clearance on social media applications many times. So I always just follow what I really want to follow and people what I want to follow, and also always trying to don't feel this pressure what other people are doing. Yeah, it was I especially when coming back to Prague with a backpack. I knew that this is going to come. That after a few months, I could start feeling again the pressure to buy a car and a house and this thing and this thing. And I was like, I learned how to live without all the stuff, and I was feeling more alive without the things than with them.
Beautiful. Thank you, Alice, so much for your time and for sharing your story. There's a lot of things I wish we covered, but that's for next time if you do want to come. I hope you do. And yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah, me too.